Hey guys, Brad from simpleguitar.com here, and thanks for coming back to another video. Now, when it comes to learning guitar, my whole goal is to help make this all simple for you, hence the name, Simple Guitar, right? And one of the things that I've decided over the years of teaching students and working with hundreds of students is that a lot of times the things that we begin students on aren't the easiest things. So today we're going to start with one of the things that I think is easier for students to get started with. So if you're just starting out, this is going to be great for you. If not, this is still going to be really helpful because what we're going to talk about today is power chords. And power chords are one of the coolest things that you can play on the guitar, whether you're playing electric or you're playing acoustic. You can play it on either one, it doesn't matter. But power chords can be used to play any style of music. You can play thousands and thousands of songs with them. You can simplify complicated songs to just power chords. You can do all sorts of things with them. And I'll tell you what, most of the time we start students out with open chords like G and C and D and stuff like that. Power chords are a lot easier. And if you can get these power chords down first, that means that you are going to start having more fun and playing more real music on the guitar faster, which I think that's a better thing anyway. Now, the thing that I usually start students out with first is actually power chords in drop D. I'm not going to talk about those in this video, but I will link above to a video that I did on those power chords first. I think it was one of the first videos I did, so you can go check that out if you want. But today we're going to talk more about standard power chords, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this, which is going to be basically 3 different levels. So let's jump into power chords. Now, when it comes to these standard power chords, I usually will start students out on open power chords, which are the simplest thing. They only take 1 finger to play, and you can really play 3 different power chords. But the good news is there is a whole bunch of songs that use these 3 power chords that you can play all the time. And I usually will start students out with 1 or 2 songs playing these. So check this out. The first open power chord that we're going to do, you're going to play your 6th string open. So this is your low E string, and it's going to be ringing out open. And then we're only going to play 1 other string. So that string is going to be your 5th string. And so what you're going to do is take your first finger on your fretting hand, your index finger, and you're going to place that on the 2nd fret of your 5th string. And then you're going to strum through your 6th string and 5th string together like this. And when you do that, that's a power chord, okay? Now, because the lowest note that we're playing is an E note, this is an E power chord or an E5 power chord. You'll see stuff labeled that way too for power chords. So anytime you see an E, whether it's major or minor, really, you could play this power chord. And so that's what you got to do. Now be careful. You want to make sure that you're only hitting those 2 strings. You don't want to hit other strings for now, okay? And you also don't want to do those strings slowly. You don't want to just go. You want to make sure that you're moving your pick lightly enough over the strings and quickly enough that those strings will sound out basically simultaneously. Okay? Now the next open power chord for you is an A open power chord or an A5 power chord. So what you're going to do is you're going to play now, instead of playing your 5th string and your 6th string, we're going to move your first finger over to your 4th fret. Okay, so you're going to play with your first finger on the 2nd fret of your 4th string. That's what I meant, right? And then you're also going to have your 5th string open. So then we're just going to play your 5th string and your 4th string. So put your pick on your 5th string and then pick down through your 4th string. So you can stop your pick on the 3rd string, so that you're not going past that. But do just be careful. Make sure that you're just getting those 2 strings. And if you do that, that's your A5 open power chord. Now the 3rd one is your D open power chord. Now with this, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move down a set of strings. So we're going to play our 4th string open now, and then you're going to take your first finger and put it on the 2nd fret of your 3rd string like this. And you're just playing those 2 strings together. And that will give you a D open power chord. So Let's check this out. We have our D open power chord. Move your finger over and you have your A open power chord. And then you move your finger over and you have your E open power chord. Now, the song that I usually will start students out with these power chords is Louie, Louie by the Kingsmen, but we actually play the cover version by Motorhead because the recording by the Kingsmen is out of tune and Motorhead's isn't. Motorhead's is in tune, so we play with Motorhead. It's a lot more fun, okay? So if you want to go learn those, it's really simple. It's just these three. I'll just show you the riff, but if you want me to do a full video breakdown of these songs, let me know in the comments below and we'll see about doing that, okay? So for Louie, Louie, there's only 2 sections of the song. What you're gonna do is you're gonna play your A power chord and you're gonna strum it 3 times like this. And then you're gonna switch over to your D power chord and hit it 2 times. And then you're gonna switch to your E power chord and hit it 3 times. And then you're gonna go back to your D power chord and hit it 2 more times. And then that just repeats and repeats and repeats, and it'll sound like this. That's most of the song. If you can do that, you can play Louie, Louie. It's super easy, takes 1 finger, and then you just gotta be careful and make sure you're only hitting the 2 strings for the power chord that you're playing. Now the B section, what I call the B section, is the same 3 chords. You're still playing A, E, and D. You're still playing them in that order too. You're playing A, D, E, D. But your rhythm is gonna change. You're gonna play A twice, but you're gonna leave some space. There's gonna be, the first one that you hit is gonna be long, and then a really short A, and then a really quick change over to D, like this. And then you're going to do that same kind of thing. That first hit on D is going to be long, and then you're going to do another short hit on D, and then you're going to change really quickly to your E. So it'll go like this. And then I'm going to hit E, and for E, I'm going to hit it 4 times in a row, not 3. I have a pick. I can't do all my numbers. It throws me off every time. So I'm going to hit E 4 times. And then after I hit E 4 times, I'm going to go back to D, and then I'm going to hit it 2 more times. So altogether, the B section will sound like this. That's it. You can play those 2 sections and just repeat those back and forth. And like I said, if you want me to do a full breakdown of that song in another video, leave a comment below and we'll see about getting that made for you. Now, another song that you could do with these is Wild Thing by the Trogs. It's almost the exact same thing as Louie, Louie. But like I said, if you want a breakdown of that in another video, let me know. But that is open power chords for you. They're really easy. They only take 1 finger and they sound cool. And they get used in tons of songs. So the basis for a lot of blues stuff. They get used in lots of rock stuff. You can do lots of cool things with these open power chords. Now let's move on to the next level of power chords, which is your standard 2-string power chord. Now, these are what we could call a closed power chord because we're not using an open string for these, but the same principle applies. So check this out. If I play my E5 open power chord, I'm playing a note on my low E string that's open, and then I'm gonna go to my next string, which is my A string, and move up 2 frets so that I have my E string open, and then I'm on the 2nd fret of my next string. And that gives me the structure of the power chord. And we can use that same structure. So check this out. I could take my first finger, my index finger, and this is now going to play the lower note of the power chord. And I can put it on my 5th fret on my 6th string, okay? And then I'm going to take my 3rd finger, my ring finger, and I'm going to put it on the next string up, so the 5th string in this case, my A string, and I'm going to go 2 frets higher. And so that means my first finger's on 5, my 3rd finger is going to go on the 5th string on my 7th fret. Okay, so it's just 2 frets higher on the next string, and then I play those 2 together. And when I do that, that gives me a power chord. Okay. Now, here's the beautiful thing about power chords. When you are playing a power chord, this is a movable shape, meaning if I keep my fingers in this kind of shape where my first finger is on the lower string, my ring finger is on the next string up and 2 frets higher, I can move this shape around and play it at any fret, and I have a new power chord. Now, whatever the name of that power chord is whatever note I'm playing on the lower string that I'm playing. Because I can do this on my 6th string like this, with my first finger on my 6th string and my 3rd finger on my 5th string. And I can change strings. I can do my first finger on the 5th string and then my 3rd finger on the 4th string. And I can even do this with my first finger on the 4th string and my 3rd finger on the 3rd string. But either way, the structure is the same, okay? And whatever note my first finger is playing for these, whatever that note is that the first finger plays will determine the name of the power chord, if it's an A or a B or a C or an F sharp or whatever it is. And if you need to review your notes, I'll link to a video right here for that so that you can go make sure that you're memorizing and learning the notes on the fretboard. That's something that is just handy with everything. So 2-string power chords are really cool because here you can start moving them around. You can start changing strings with them. You can do all sorts of cool stuff, and you can play thousands upon thousands of songs. But like I said before in the introduction to this video, I think that power chords like this are so much easier to learn than open chords, and you can start having way more fun with them way faster, because once you have these power chords down, you literally have a whole library of songs that you could start learning and playing that are simple and that are fun to play. A few that I like to get students going on are All the Small Things by Blink-182, Brain Stew or Hitchin' a Ride by Green Day. Hitchin' a Ride is a lot of fun. That's a really good one. Also, I like Going to Passalaqua by Green Day because it uses the 3 open power chords that we did, and it has an F sharp closed power chord or regular 2-string power chord. And so you get both there. You know, there's so many songs that you can do with these power chords, but those are just a few that I like to get students going on. So now let's jump to the 3rd level of these power chords that I think is even cooler sounding, okay? And this is 3-string power chords. Now here's the trick. Power chords are typically only made up of 2 notes, which technically does not make them a chord. Technically, a chord has 3 notes and not 2. 3 different notes, but we're only playing 2 notes here. And even with a 3-string power chord, we're still not technically playing 3 different notes, because here's what's going to happen. Let's say that I'm playing this power chord right here, and I've got my first finger that's on 5 on my 6th string, and then my 3rd finger on 7 on the 5th string. For a 3-string power chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to put it next to my 3rd finger on the next string. So now I've got my first finger on the 6th string, my 3rd finger on the 5th string, and then my pinky on the 4th string. And it's on the same fret that my ring finger's on, right? So I've got 5, 7, and 7 on different strings. Now I can play all 3 of those together. And that sounds even richer and cooler. And here's why. This low note that I'm playing with my first finger happens to be the exact same note that I'm playing with my pinky 2 strings up. Those are both an A note in this case. So I'm playing 3 strings, but I'm still only playing 2 notes because I've got an A here, I've got an E here, and then I've got another A. But just like with 2-string power chords, these are movable. I can move them around. And I can also change strings with them. So that means that I can play them and they sound awesome. Now, because they have that extra note in there, they double up on that note, they do sound a little bit more full, a little bit more rich. And so if you can default to 3-string power chords, get used to playing these, you're just going to sound even cooler than if you're just playing 2-string power chords. But most of the time, 2-string power chords are going to be just great as well. So guys, that is it for these power chords. If you didn't know these power chords before, I hope that that helps you out. And I want you to go learn these, go have fun with them, go learn some songs that use them, because that's the key to getting this down, is start playing real music. So you can start with any of the songs that I've mentioned. There's more. You could play All the Small Things by Blink. You could play Hitchin' a Ride by Green Day. You could play Brain Stew by Green Day. That's even simpler and easier. You can play like Glycerine by Bush. That's a really good one. Closing Time by Semisonic. Really just about any song by Blink or Green Day. I mean, most of their songs are made up of power chords. And so finding some songs that you like, that you want to play, that use power chords, they're great. If you have questions about that and you want some more suggestions, or maybe if there's something in a specific style or from a certain band, leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to help you out and help you find a song that you dig that uses these power chords so that you can start learning it. But that's it today, guys. So go learn these power chords, go play with them, have some fun with them, learn some real songs with them. If you haven't already, go to my website, simpleguitar.com. This is the first thing that I tell people to learn in the free guide, the top 10 things to learn on guitar first. Like I said, I feel like most of the stuff that we teach beginners has a steeper learning curve, but power chords, and especially power chords that are in drop D, the learning curve is way lower. You can get playing full songs right away. In fact, today I had a 7-year-old student come in, and it was his first real day of class, and we got him playing 2 full songs that you hear on the radio. I'm not talking about like Mary Had a Little Lamb and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. No, he was playing The Middle by Jimmy Eat World and Old Town Road by the time he left class today. And he's 7, right? And it was fun for him because he's here playing real music, and it's super easy for him to do it. So that's why I put together the top 10 things to learn on guitar first as a guide for you to help you be able to play real music and have more fun right off the bat. So if you haven't already got it, go to simpleguitar.com/top10, download that guide. It's yours for free. I'm just here to help you out. And then I will catch you guys in the next video.